right.
Good thing I have my shirt on.
Oh, well, geez. It's 10 o'clock.
All right. Ready?
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know that it's refreshed for everybody yet. You want to give everyone a second?
Okay.
There we go. Oh, yep. Okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there.
The quality of this thing looks terrible all the time.
Yeah. You need to turn your volume down. That's just how it goes sometimes. The quality on the iPad looks really good. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Sorry, I'm almost done.
He's just taking care of business. How are y'all doing today? Hoping everyone's having a lovely weekend.
I just want to see if I can fix it.
He's unhappy with the quality that he sees. What are y'all drinking this morning or this evening, wherever you are?
Yeah, that's much better. All right.
What's in your cup today?
I'm drinking English breakfast.
Oh,
It's one of my favorite teas.
pinkies up.
Yeah, well, it's not particularly fancy. Whatever.
All right, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Ooh. Welcome to Books We Never Read.
Except for those we have.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Jason.
And this is episode 23, where we're going to talk about Deception Point chapters 89 through the end.
23 already. That's pretty impressive.
No, that's crazy.
Not counting like syllabi and.
Right, yeah. Our episodes are only counting our episodes. Ooh, Peggy's drinking a Coke imported from somewhere.
Mystery Coke.
Somewhere. Yes, so before we get going, please make sure this is the episode you're actually trying to watch, because when we talk about our books, we talk about it as if you've read up to that point, and for Deception Point, that's the whole thing. So, check out our other books that we've read. They're playlisted for you. Again, spoilers abound, and we don't want you to have learned about anything that you didn't want to learn about. Would you like to turn our light on?
Yeah.
I noticed I'm very dark. It's a little bit better.
Hey, as y'all are watching this, if we're very choppy, could you let us know? Because it looks very choppy to me on both things. Is that choppy on there?
Well, so, that's pretty normal. For our end of it, it always looks like this.
Gotcha.
But yes, please do tell us if your quality is not good. We could always go to data to do our live if we needed to. So, Peggy says she has a book recommendation. Tinkers by Paul Harding.
Okay.
All right, we'll add it. Okay, and then Sue says that we look good. Thank you. We look good? Or the show looks good? Don't answer that. What was it called? Tinkers?
Yeah.
By Paul. We'll add it to the list. Yeah, we're needing to refresh our list a little bit, so please let us know.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's a librarian, and she's working on helping us build up some options for a different genre that we have not really tapped into yet.
What genre is that?
So a little bit of chick lit and a little bit of romance.
Right.
So
I'm not gonna lie, I've been suggesting this for a couple weeks now, and I'm kind of excited about it because it's something I wouldn't normally read.
Yeah.
If you didn't see, on our last episode, we announced that our next book is Childhood's End by Arthur C Clarke. We're gonna put out the syllabus for that today. It's real basic, so there's not much gonna be to that episode. But we hope y'all join us for that one because we're very excited.
Yeah, and Childhood's End is a pretty short one compared to some of the other things that we. Peggy said you to the romance, but look, I've never read a romance book before, so.
I am romance, so I'll be judgy.
So anyway, so I'm excited to kind of randomly tap into that field, and she's gonna curate a list of some ones with really good storylines, because she knows that that's what I need. I need a good storyline. I don't want just the bodice ripper. I want story. So.
One day I was at work and Nicole called me because my Kindle was giving me all kinds of weird romance things on
what
the.
You been reading?
I don't know what happened.
My Kindle recommends sci-fi. But anyways, back to Arthur C Clarke. That's a real short one, so it might be a nice little break to not have as much to read. To me, Deception Point went really quickly. As a matter of fact, I finished Deception Point shortly after last week's episode. I
Yeah.
was like
Immediately after.
I was doing laundry and then I was done.
Yeah.
Listening to the book.
So segue into Deception Point, right?
Right.
She came in here not 2 hours after our live stream. I was doing something on my computer and she just stared at me real mean and then walked away. And that's how I knew I was right about something that I had predicted. And it turns out it was. You can watch our episode from last week, and that's the episode for this week. We'll see you later.
Basically, yeah, a book we never read is just and just Jason's guesses for how the book should end and suggestions for improvement.
Yeah. You know, it's a real shame is I like my ending better, but it's okay. We'll talk about that.
Peggy posted a comment that got held for review, and it's her opinion on what romance novels are.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's kind of from Friends. 100 euphemisms for male genitalia.
Hey, Peggy, we're thinking that someday, if ever we get big enough, we need a moderator. Maybe that could be you.
Yes.
Just because we don't want crazy people saying
Right.
stuff. You can be that person.
You can be the crazy person, but we need Mom. we need people to, just in case some meanie heads get up in here. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, look. Let's talk about the end of Deception
Point.
So you liked it? You liked Deception Point?
Okay. So I enjoyed the ride. Right. Like it was like watching a movie in my head. I didn't take any notes. I didn't have much thought on like literary.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it was a great book. I've always heard the term like a beach read.
Okay.
Like a book that you take to the beach.
Yes.
And I never really, I guess, knew what that meant.
Yeah.
This is a beach read, right?
Yeah.
Like this is you're on vacation. There's not a care in the world, and you're just reading and enjoying.
That's really funny because my boss went to the beach recently and asked for a good book to read, and I suggested Three Body. Not a beach read.
No, because that's stressful and you have to think about it.
Yeah. Well, look, so I agree. This is definitely so far my least favorite book that we've read. I'm not saying it's a bad book, and I'm not saying I didn't enjoy it. It's just my least, and I think you're right. Like it's kind of that there was like no analysis really to be had.
Right.
Like there wasn't any like cool philosophical questions, and I really enjoy that.
And like even with West with Giraffes, we were able to take kind of a dive into like human,
right?
Like connections and what it means to be human and the challenges that we face. That really wasn't this book's role.
Yeah, we've read a lot of things that have something to teach you. And this book had nothing.
Except maybe I learned a little more about survival skills.
No, you didn't. These aren't real. No,
but I mean, like action-packed, right? And Rachel was really good at not dying.
She's the protagonist. They all are.
I would like to be that good at not dying under these circumstances.
Get somebody to write a book about you.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, if I'm on a little...
It's called plot armor.
If I'm on a little boat and it's surrounded by sharks... And then I'm on a little like thingy thing that's gonna go down into the water, and then it starts busting out, and I'm surrounded by sharks. I'm 100% sure that I am it.
Yeah, I
like that she lived though.
Yeah,
It's cool.
It
was exciting.
So what was funny about this book is that there was like so many like Chekhov's guns, right? Like they mentioned the mega plume, and you're like, that's coming back around. They mentioned the hydrophones, and I've called it and said that one's coming back around. Then he like chums the sharks and like everything just if they mentioned it, it's coming back.
But it was fun.
Yeah, and so for anybody who's watching who's not familiar with the term Chekhov's gun, the idea is that if you introduce a gun in a play in Act 1, it comes back around by Act 3, and like somebody's gonna die, and it's just that everything kind of has a purpose, which is not always true in literature. Sometimes there's just filler,
little red herrings and whatnot.
Yeah.
Just to take a moment, can we take a moment? Okay. Peggy accepts. Allison says no 50 Shades.
Have you ever read 50 Shades?
Me? No. Yeah. I've never read a romance book.
I read it one time.
Oh.
Yeah, a friend of mine was reading it and I was like, I'll read it with you.
Oh, how'd it go?
Not for me. The pacing was all off.
No,
but talking about pacing, that is kind of my big complaint about this book. There was a lot of like, I felt like a lot of it was like hurry up and wait. And while Corky Marlinson is supposed to be the comic relief, I find his diatribes to be long, and I get it. Right? Like and for people who don't know me well, I like for you to tell me what you want to tell me and then be done. I don't need you to explain it 7 different ways. And sometimes I felt like this book did that, you know, where it was just like, and we're coming back. Here we go. And lap 2. Here we go. And I didn't need that. So.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just to show the point about like how passionate they were about that finding. And so this was something that I thought was interesting by the time I was done with the book. Normally, I would have been really brokenhearted for NASA, you know, that this wasn't real, you know, that there really wasn't this discovery of life from another planet. Like, that would have been the key part of the book to me.
Yeah.
And I would have been really sad about that plot point of it. But it was so just like washed over.
Yeah.
And the only focus really was like the political drama,
part,
which was fine.
Well, to the point where, so just now before we got on air, I realized that I had not read the epilogue. I just hadn't done it yet.
I also, right before we aired, I was like, whoa, there.
Yeah.
Epilogue.
So the epilogue is extra dumping the meteor
Just
out of a plane back into the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that he is disappointed, but it is still a major discovery. It is like a fossilized creature that like nobody had really seen before. It is proof that chondrules can be, you know, created deep undersea. There's a lot to this. You don't just dump it back in the ocean, right? Yeah. It'd be like somebody digging for like Greek artifacts,
and they found
finding
a dinosaur instead,
and then being like, that was one of those things where like this would not happen, right? Like this just would not happen. Also, that is like at this point state property. So you can't just go chuck it back in the ocean.
But who knows how much time had skipped, you know? But it's just letting us know that this has ended.
Well, I imagine not that much time because he also would have been fired by now because he was involved. I think he. So number one, I think he did it like solo. I don't think he talked to anybody about it. He just dumped it back in the ocean. But I mean, he was in cahoots with Tench about the whole thing, and so he does not deserve to have his job anymore.
Yeah.
So.
I really hate how every time Tench appeared, there was some comment about her being some wretched lizard woman.
Well,
that really hurt my feelings. We need to value, you know, like judge people based on their actions.
Yeah.
Not on their appearances.
Some people look like lizard people.
I know.
Some people are.
I really only ever saw her as the administrative assistant in Monsters, Inc.
So I always saw her. I don't know why I saw this because like I don't think this woman is like unattractive, but the woman, she's blonde, like maybe white blonde. She plays the like community renewal person in Role Models, and she played the coach in Glee.
Oh yes,
that woman. I just saw her because one of those shows she's like chain smokes, and so that was like kind of like the
and she's always real rough around the edges,
yeah,
real tough.
Yeah, real tough. Yeah, so but I think like if they were to make a movie today, she would be the perfect person to cast as because she'd be kind of sarcastic and all that. So
was she an Avatar? There's a person
like
that
the Blue movie.
Yeah, she's a person. There's a person I confused with her, and I really thought that she was in that.
I don't think so. We need to watch the second one, though.
Yeah.
Anyway, but so yeah. What else? What are your notes?
So some loose ends that we had in our second reading that we were kind of waiting to figure out like what's going on. We finally saw what happened with Brophy, and like how his role tied into this. He was a Canadian whose dogs, may they rest in peace, were brutally thrown out of a helicopter. Dan Brown.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be included.
I'm gonna write him a letter. He's like, I forgot I wrote that book. Yeah. So he originally discovered the asteroid, radioed about it. Really.
Forcibly radioed about it. It was a false radio. He said these things haven't happened yet, and then he got taken aboard the helicopter and murdered.
Okay, yeah, you're right, because Pickering just set him up to act as if he had discovered it. That's what it was. I got you. Yeah.
Wait.
So the story is that the Canadian discovers the meteor and the radios about it.
Oh,
he doesn't really discover it. Pickering just says like, "There's a dude up there." Make him say the stuff. Chuck him out the helicopter. So yeah.
So who really did find the meteor?
Nobody found it. Pickering put it there. He also found
where did he get it? That's what I'm saying.
The Marianas Trench.
I missed.
He has like some kind of like hyper submersible thing that can go that deep, and they went down there and they dug out this rock. And there's a little part in the book somewhere where they kind of explain like how they really found it. And he pulls it up, and they discover that it has chromules and all this stuff, and then so he puts it there um, for NASA's benefit.
This is also the problem with like reading a whole chunk of a book in one day is like everything blurs together.
Yeah. Well, so my prediction last week was that I thought Pickering did it, and so I was right about that. But I thought that maybe he had done it to make NASA look bad and then bring them down because he was upset about his daughter and all that. But really, he did it to try to save NASA. And like I didn't see that part coming. That seemed like a little flimsy to me, but like okay.
Well, because the privatization of it is worse than the government-run version, right? Yeah, and that's that's a real issue that we see. There's a lot of talk of the pros and cons of having some privatization and with the government part of it.
Right.
It's important to have the governmental aspect, the NASA aspect, right? Because it is about education and research and that kind of thing.
Sure.
And then the privatization part actually gets stuff done.
Yeah.
Which is also important because that's why we have like cell phones that work so well.
Well, private companies now, like this was written 20 years ago, right? And so private companies now are doing a better job of doing research that doesn't necessarily serve a function, right? Like I think a lot of like AI research and stuff like that. There's banking that will someday pay.
Yeah.
But I agree that there are certain like we don't want our only access to space to be somebody trying to make a buck off of us, right? Because then we're basically held hostage to that.
And oh my God, I don't want billboards in space.
Well, and that'd be like, what if the only way for us to send a tank overseas to a war was if we had to like get a private company to ship it, and then they were just like, all right, we're all gonna raise our prices. Now you can't ship your tanks. Good luck with your war, right? Like you don't need that kind of access stifled.
Yeah. Let's see. Talon's ship.
Yeah. Did you look it up?
Was really interesting. No.
I didn't know
it. Okay. But I really liked the, when he called his ship to like get in contact with the people and their voicemail that they left, and that was all very just and like all this chaos. Everyone's been like nearly killed 3 times.
Yeah.
And then like here's this one like, you did it, man. You brought to me, and it was all really great. We're going for a party, and like, hey, you suck because you made a mistake, and it was all real cute. And I really enjoyed these little breaks from the assassination attempts.
Yeah, just on repeat. On repeat.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the Delta Force made it out alive. I think they all died. I'm pretty sure. Well, because I guess Pickering died too. Now I think about it. They don't like explicitly say that, I don't think, but I don't think he made it.
I don't remember how the boat scene ended.
It's going down. It sinks. It gets sucked into a vortex.
Yeah,
he didn't make
he
it.
Did.
He did.
That sucks. I like this character.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just one of those like shadowy government officials, trying to get their job done, kind of thing, by any means necessary, and it just got real excessive, And he does this whole look. If you're a bad guy, and you are talking to the person you're trying to kill,
just kill him.
You're guaranteed to lose, right? That's the one that survival skills that you've learned from books and TV.
Don't give speeches.
Don't give speeches. Just kill him.
Don't tell them why you're killing him. Just get it done.
Well, he was like, we can work together. There's no coming back from this.
Yeah.
You can't leave a loose end open like that. You can't. I don't know. I enjoyed the description of his death because it talks about like how he hopes that his daughter didn't feel this much terror, and all that. And so there was sort of like it wasn't a redemption moment by any means, but it was sort of like leaning that direction.
Well, just a little karma. And it goes with that that little Latin phrase that they use: "Sacrifice the few to save the many." That's fine and dandy until you're the few that's getting sacrificed, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Well, that sucks."
Yeah. Well, and I've said this on like several other shows that we've done before. But like, part of being in government is about making hard choices. I don't think this is a hard choice. Don't kill people, right? Like, don't kill innocent people for this,
right?
If it was like we can kill this one innocent person and we're going to prevent a nuclear holocaust, all right. But like the president needs a win, let's throw dogs out of a plane. Not here for it.
And when he was going through his little laundry list of people who got killed, he didn't include the dogs, and that lets me know
bad person.
He's no good.
Yeah. Well, my dream ending was that somehow the president would have to choose between saving Rachel and crew and going public about the NASA issue. And really, he didn't like have to save her. She had already like been saved. And so I guess there was a choice there about like he didn't even really choose to go public about it, right? That was a great scene where Sexton is this other villain we have, unrelated, basically.
Just so cocky.
Yeah. And whenever he gets up there and hands out his little packets,
open them up. It's all real, sir. Are you sure these are real? Oh, they're real.
Yep. It was a good scene. I really enjoyed that.
Poor Gabby.
Yeah, I feel bad for her.
I mean.
But I think the president tells her, like, don't worry, everybody's going to forget. And, like, that's true. It's not, that doesn't make it okay. But I like to think that she has a future still. There are enough people who support her.
And she ended up doing the right thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all backed the wrong politician at some point, and then, but she acknowledged that. She saw those pieces unfold. And
how about her friend at, like, ABC or whatever turning out to be not a bad guy? Didn't see that coming.
I was really expecting something bad to happen with Yolanda.
Yeah.
Not necessarily that Yolanda would be the bad one, but that someone in the office would expose, those pictures that she had locked up. Let's see. Can you imagine wanting a job so badly you're willing to kill a bunch of people and dogs? No.
But I think part of being a politician is that you are willing to do that. So
yeah, he's so skeezy.
Yeah.
That's all my note.
Is it really? What does this one say?
The Triton.
What is that?
That's that little like thing that Rachel was in, and she couldn't get the lid open, and so Holland keeps jumping down in there and being like, "Oh, like she can't hear."
Yeah. I was impressed by his like problem solving skills to pressurize the inside or whatever. But when it talks about her like eardrums being crushed, I can feel it inside me. I'm not here for it. And then like I hate leaks. I don't mind water if it's where it's supposed to be. I hate water when it's not where it's supposed to be. And I feel like if you're in a submarine, it's like the reverse. Like you have invaded water. And so like it should kill you. Like you shouldn't be there. Like don't do that. And it like starts to leak in. She's like getting crushed by all the water when she kicks the window out. Like there's nothing worse than like dying at sea. Except maybe space. Which is the sea of space. I don't want to.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to drown. We have like Louisiana water trauma just from like flash floods and hurricane force rain and winds, and so yeah, we're pretty scared of water around here. But I wouldn't mind dying in space. You just freeze. And then you have like such a view,
Okay, I guess. One of the other scenes, like talking about the boat scene, reminds me when they first show up and talk to that scientist that tells him about the mistake he made. How Corky's just like, "Can I eat your sandwich?" Right? Like that's what Corky is good for, right? Because otherwise people are just getting killed over and over and over again, and attempted murder over and over and over again. And Corky's just out here trying to eat your sandwich. So
though, he did have his like glorious moment though. He was off in that little speeder boat, and I'm like, Corky, it done left everybody. And then like it explodes, but he like jumped out into the water, and I guess he swam back without getting ate by the sharks.
Yeah. So he pees on his own leg, and then at the end of the book, he has to like tell that Secret Service agent about how he peed on his own leg.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's like, let's go get a snack, and I'll tell you about how I peed on my leg.
This is one of those things. Like I could have also just done without the romance between Michael and Rachel. I just don't care.
Yeah.
And
I wasn't so connected to the characters in this book that it meant anything.
They've known each other for 24 hours, and you've been through trauma. Like you shouldn't be hooking up with nobody, right? Like you need to
decompress.
It turns out they have nothing in common, and it lasted about 3 weeks.
But
I'm just kidding. I made that up. But
they, I know. But like they both had a lot to get over, and they have each other, and they understand. They had a shared experience, and that can go a long way. Yeah, good for them.
Yeah, but I mean, this is 24 hours. All this is in 24 hours. He has some PTSD now.
Yeah.
So.
But man, what a cool life! Like, sure, yeah, I'll go out on the boat with you, and you can record your show, and I can just be on a boat, hanging out.
I guess.
Yeah, do you think that she'll continue her career in governmental things?
Probably. I bet you anything she takes Pickering's job. Like if that's the sequel I had to write, like if I were the president, that's what I would choose to do.
But she had a pretty low level position apparently.
Who cares? Like
she just promote.
Yeah. Who cares? Put her in there. And I don't think that writing just for the president is like a low level position. It's not administrative by any means.
Right.
But like how hard is it really to administrate?
Right. And I mean we had a very competent, confident, capable, intelligent female protagonist.
Yeah.
Written by men.
Yeah. Sure.
I have accidentally activated my Google, and he's telling us a lot of information right now. Something about a Disney princess. I'm so sorry if whatever I said has also activated your Google.
Yeah. It's still going.
He's just, he knows I like good explanations normally.
Yeah.
So he was really going for it.
Yeah. So all told, so I guess we're gonna put this in thriller, right? And this is not what I would say is our like first thriller, because I think 7.5 Deaths was our first.
Yeah.
And I think 7.5 Deaths was better. It was a good mystery that I couldn't figure out. It had time travel, which I'm a sucker for time travel. Like it was really good.
Yeah.
But I would definitely read something in this vein again.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if it includes aliens for real.
But I mean, it's just a fun read.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. Is like I don't think this would be like our most popular like book as far as like the particular people who are participating in our club.
Sure.
But taking this every once in a while, especially if it's like travel season for people, like in the middle of summer or spring break or something like that, trying to time our books, something like this.
Man, I'd gladly read another Dan Brown any day. I mean, his books are they're just fun. I wonder if he has another Robert Langdon book coming out. Origin was the last one. And that was hit or miss. Some people loved it, some people didn't.
Was that the one about the computer?
I don't remember. I only read like the first couple of chapters.
I think I read that when I was in Europe.
The Big Spider. The Big Spider, not real spider. The Big Spider.
Yeah. Okay, I think
sculpture
I read that one. Yeah.
And one of our other members, Greg Fox, said that this kind of reminded him a lot of some Michael Crichton novels, which we could always.
I would love to do that.
I love Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
The book. I've only read the first one. It's so good.
See, I've never read it.
Ooh.
So at some point we need to make a decision about what do we do about books that
one of us has read. You know, when we first started this channel, I thought that was okay. I thought as long as one of us hasn't read it, it's still a book we haven't read.
Oh
right?
Boy, have I got some books.
Oh gosh.
Okay, I'm in. What do y'all think about that? What do you guys think about us reading books that one of us has read but the other hasn't?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of those, and I would like to share some of those books with you, and I'm sure you want to.
And I'm an advocate for rereading a book.
Yeah.
You get so much more out of it, the second time around.
Yeah.
It's really. But there's also tons of Michael Crichton that neither of us have read. Like you've read Spears and I haven't.
Yeah.
Spear. But then there's the one like Andromeda Strain.
I've read that.
Okay.
I've read those.
There's also one about like medicine. One about there's like a needle on the cover of it. I don't remember what that one is. But I bet we could find something that neither of us have read.
Sure.
Oh, I got called space trash and it got held.
Well, let it out there.
No, it was Peggy though saying like I'd be willing to die. I'm okay dying in space. You just freeze and then you have like a great view or whatever. She's like, but then you're space trash. But YouTube thought that she was calling me trash. That's really cute.
Space trash? That you would be space trash?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah. And let's see, Allison says, stay away from romance genre.
That's in response to me saying like I didn't really care for it. It felt forced, right? Mm-hmm. There were definitely parts of this book that I thought were like weird and sexist, or like that didn't hit me right.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do I think professionals don't act like that, but I also just don't think like it's necessary for the story. And I felt like the romance was forced for like people who need that, I guess. But it just wasn't believable. Yeah,
it didn't do anything for me. And I typically enjoy it, when there is that tension that builds up between two people and like you're rooting for them, and you're just like, I love this story, but I would also love it in my mind if like I know that they're together at the end of this.
People,
but I didn't need it in this way. It was just an action thriller.
Yeah.
We had helicopter chases and plane chases. I learned more about planes than I ever thought that I would know.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't need a relationship out of it. It was fun.
Yeah.
And like, why was that the ending?
Yeah.
I
don't know. It wasn't really the ending. The ending was them chucking the rock back in the ocean.
down in the water. I feel like Audible cut that part off, maybe. I don't know. YouTube thinks Peggy's a troll. It's fine.
Peggy can say whatever she wants when she becomes our moderator.
Yeah, I would say once you make you the moderator and like, you're the winner,
we have a real problem.
There's enough out there, maybe. Wait till we've exhausted the ones that we both haven't read. Yeah, okay. That's a good point, Peggy. Good point. Because then there's one of us that's always like,
yeah. Well, look, and let's do this. Let's make lists of the things that I would like to read again that you have not read, and you can make some of the. And like, if there's anything where you're like, I want to do that, then we'll jump into it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So, I guess that's it for this particular book.
Yeah.
If y'all want to join us for Childhood's End, it's very short, but we're going to spread it out over 3 weeks. But our syllabus will be out shortly. Sometime today or tomorrow, because our first reading is due next week. If you are here and you don't want to wait for the syllabus, it's part 1. You need to read part 1 by next Sunday.
Yeah. The book is cut into 3 pieces: part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah. Easy.
They're not equal pieces, but it's a short book, so it should be fine.
Yeah. Cool. Well, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us this morning. It was a lot of fun, and the chat was cool. Everybody talking to each other. That's what we like. We
really love having y'all with us, and just being part of it. If you're watching the replay, please hop up, into the comments and tell us what you thought about the book, and respond to other people's comments. Do the whole thing, like have a whole experience just on the replay, and we always go back and look at the comments, and we love reliving the books. And we also love, maybe we are too dismissive on some things in this one, and that happens, right? And so it takes us, hearing other people's perspectives to really get the most out of these books. We love hanging on to these stories and kind of reliving them and talking about them again.
I guess I am concerned maybe that I'm doing that with this book, because we're watching the 3-body series, which is letting me relive the 3-body books, which is the best thing I've read in like 10 years. And it's a great show, and then I have to like come back and do this like thriller, right?
Yeah.
And so
maybe
I'm comparing it to something that I'm currently doing.
Yeah, and it's we shouldn't really compare. They're
Yeah.
They're their own thing.
And I'm not saying that I compare, but like maybe I am. So.
Peggy says, "Thank y'all. I adore you both. We adore you too." We're so much fun. And Greg Fox says he'll post his notes later. We always look forward to your notes, Greg Fox. We love it.
Cool.
All right, you guys. Well, we'll see you next week. We might have another 3-body live to post at some point, if anyone's also keeping up with that. That show is so good. I absolutely cannot stay awake through it.
It's true.
I'm just so tired at night.
All right. Well, let's let him go.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys. Oh, no.